My biggest issue with the first Smile was that it felt too familiar and utilized too many ideas that we've already seen before. So the idea of extending that out into a second movie left me predicting that Smile 2 would be a chore to get through. I felt like we just don't need a sequel, and after seeing this movie, I stand by that statement. However, if there is going to be a sequel, it could have been so much worse than the Smile 2 we've been given. There's a lot of reasons that this is an unnecessary sequel. It more or less follows the same beats as the first one while doing almost nothing to add on to the lore of the series, and it ends in a way that leaves much of the story itself feeling pointless. The ending is honestly my biggest issue with the movie, but I can't get into that too much without spoilers. I also feel like the scares in this movie are a downgrade from the last one. In my Smile review, I complained about the way that Parker Finn would always set up a really clever, creepy scene, but then punctuate it with a jump scare or some other kind of cliche. But in this movie, the problem is different. With the exception of one genuinely scary scene that comes a bit later in the movie, the clever setups are skipped almost entirely in favor of just these loud noise jump scares. And they're not necessarily bad jump scares, but I pretty quickly stopped finding them amusing and just started getting annoyed. But with all those complaints lodged, I still must confess that the experience of watching the movie was overall a positive one. Parker Finn, despite his proclivity to jump to cliches, is a great filmmaker on a technical level, and that is hugely on display here. The moment when that really hit me was where there's this upside down shot of New York City at night, and it travels through the sky, then in through a window to show us Naomi Scott's character coming through a door, and the whole shot is still upside down. I was mildly awestruck. And speaking of Naomi Scott's character, she's at least as compelling of a character as the protagonist in the last movie. Last but not least, I want to especially shout out the cold open of this movie, which is this incredible heart-pounding sequence that starts the movie off on an incredibly strong note. It's arguably the best scene in the movie. So yes, this is a film that did not need to exist. But accepting the fact that it does exist, it's not bad. In my opinion, it's a light 6 out of 10.